don't know if I should just say good evening or good morning. It's almost midnight, so we'll just stick to good evening. Um, I said I wasn't going to do another video today, but given one of the things I posted and the answers that I've been receiving, I feel that it's only necessary that I do go ahead and post my response to this. So, wait, let's go back. So, the question that I asked is a question to all the single parents. If you get married, will you place your spouse over your children? Now, understand what this question entails. This question entails that the person is a single parent. That means a single father or a single mother. In most cases, it's a single mother. But the reason I phrase that question is because we do have a single father, obviously. So, some of the answers that I got. One of the first answers that I got, I think it was the first answer, was as a married woman, me and my husband are equal, and as one person, we are, me and my husband are equal, and that's one. Personally, no, but you have to remember that when your child leaves the nest or create their own families, it's just you and your spouse. But it's different for me because um, my husband is her dad. It's not what someone's starting over. Now you gotta understand that, um, and I do love Andrea's response. She actually has another response that I really liked as well. But the question really isn't catered towards her, even though I love that she answered because she's giving this from the perspective of somebody that is married and has it, and whose spouse is the father of her child. So again, I want y'all to keep that in mind, though, because that perspective is a very good one. That was actually the post that made me say that I was going to go ahead and just do a response to this video. So you can see my what I replied there if you want to read it real quick. But I'm not going to go into that too much because I don't want to make this too long of a video. Now, Molly, she responded. She said, nope, actually it was Megan that was first. Okay, anyway though. Molly said, nope, I don't submit, and I put my husband and children in the same category, as the same worth, but different categories. And yes, I have been a single mom. I'll get to answers like this later on. I think Carrie kind of liked her comment and agreed with that. It's cool, whatever. This is Andrea's second response. I'm going to read that later on, but I want to get to some of the other responses first. Megan said, I ain't single, but to me, this is a thin line question. If you say yes, there are still times and scenarios where you should never. And if you say no, there are still times and scenarios where you absolutely should. I sort of agree with, but again, I want to get more of my answer. Anyways, PJ chimed in. She said, my child comes first no matter what. She asked me what I'll go into that later on. And then Precious chimed in and said it depends on the situation. I basically asked her what are the variables, but she never responded, so nothing really I can get much from that. So let's go into some of the other responses. Laura commented in. She says they should, referring to the children. They should. They are innocent, independent. If one chooses a lover over a child, doesn't have them. Kids don't understand adult matters as they know it's abandonment. They feel when a parent didn't love them enough to put aside intimacy or otherwise for a significant other, or in simple terms, it's a dick move. So basically, what she's saying is that if you put a husband or a spouse, husband or wife, over the child, then it's a dick move. I'll make sure I answer that or give my thoughts on that in a minute. And then PJ asked me, what and I simply said yes. As I said, well, she said, well, there you go. Why do you wonder what other people would do? And I basically just told her that, I'm intrigued by some of the answers and everything like that. But that I would actually give more insight. So, here's my answer to this. And in most of my questions that I do, I would say, some of the stuff is overrated and there are no right and wrongs. But in this case, I do think there is a correct answer to this. And the answer should be yes. And here's why. When you understand this, when you are choosing to marry somebody, that is a very big step. It is not something that should be taken lightly. Also, understand that as a single parent, whoever is choosing to allow you to marry them, this is especially true for women, um, that other person is taking a very big risk on you and your child. And let me kind of explain these risks. So, um, when that parent comes in and gets with you and stuff like that, they're not only investing in you, they're investing in that child. However, let's say if you guys get a dissolution of marriage or basically a divorce or a breakup or whatever, and he has formed an attachment with that child, you have every right to take that child away from him because that child is not biologically his. Does that make sense? And the same is true for if a woman uh, weds a man. The child is not theirs. They stand more to lose. They're giving their resources, they're giving their time and everything like that to somebody that isn't biologically theirs. Again, they stand to lose more out of that marriage, especially as a man, because we already know how the courses and stuff like that. They're naturally catered for the woman. It is what it is. Let's not argue that one. Um, there's a high risk involved with that. Okay. Now, the reason. Okay, so I want to go back to kind of Laura's point where she said it's a dick move. The reason why I wouldn't say it's a dick move or anything like that, I think that's totally the wrong way of thinking of that, is because in the household, in a marriage, the marriage is between you and that other person, you and that wife, or you and that husband. And you guys' family union are what creates the foundation to be able to raise that child. Does that make sense? And so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be um, mother then husband slash kid, or it shouldn't be father then wife slash child. They're not on the same level, and they shouldn't be on the same level. There's a pecking order. When you come inside the household, there needs to be a pecking order. And if you're deciding to get with that person, to marry that person, to say, okay, this is the person that I will be with for the rest of my life. Again, we understand that divorces and stuff happen, but in that marriage, for that time, you're going and saying that you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. Those kids are not destined to spend the rest of their lives with you. Your whole purpose as a family, as a unit, as a married couple, is to be able to raise those kids so that they can then go out and find their purpose in life, find their husband, their wife, get their careers and stuff like that going. And that's what they're going to do. Once they hit the ages of about 18, 19, 20, well, really, realistically, let's skip past college. Once they hit the age of about 21, 22, they are usually completely out the nest. Really out of high school, they're basically out the nest, but during those college years, they might come back and stuff like that. That might mess up. But usually by the ages of about 22, they completely out the nest. They're doing their own thing in life. You're still with that husband though, because you guys are a union. You guys are supposed to be two halves becoming one. Does that make sense? So this is why I would say again, to me, there is a correct answer to this. If you, as a single parent, are not prepared to, especially if you're going to get married with a significant other or something like that, if you're not prepared to have that significant other placed over your child, and this doesn't mean that you don't love your child. This doesn't mean none of that. No, this is just saying that, okay, this is the pecking order. And that child needs to understand that. Because the child senses that, okay, my mom is in control of all of this. That child is never going to have the same level of respect for that step parent as he does for you. So there's going to create um, there's going to create a disconnection there. Does that make sense? Another thing to think of this as is, again, uh, never mind. I think I said that right the first time. I don't even want to really re-explain or anything like that. So that's my whole take up on the stuff. Again, there's a pecking order to the stuff. The parents are at the top of the pecking order. The children are second in that pecking order. If you're a Christian family, it's God is the top of that. God is the top of that pecking order. Then there's your families, aka the husband and the wife, and then there's the child. There's always a pecking order to the stuff. That doesn't mean that you don't love them or anything like that, but that's just letting them know where they stand in ranking. That's all that is. And again, to me, if you're not ready, if you're saying that you're going to marry this person, but you're not ready for that person to be on your level as a parent to your child, then to me, you probably shouldn't be getting married because you're not ready for it. That's just me, though. Let me know what y'all think. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe.